time. So, we saw Joker this weekend, which is not part of the of the DCEU, if I'm correct. It's a standalone.
It's a standalone, and that's why it's set in the 1980s. Is because he wanted it to be
50s.
like nowhere near the timeline of the DC extended universe, as it's called.
Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Oh, totally.
It's not set in the 50s. That's
No.
Yep. So we saw this movie. It's quite polarizing, it seems, by the critics, which I'm kind of surprised by. I mean, at the moment it has a solid 8.9 out of 10 on IMDb compared to a 68% on Rotten Tomatoes and an even lower 58% on Metacritic. Sorry, if you look up this movie, for some reason you get a picture of Keanu Reeves and then Jared Leto's Joker
Why?
come up because he's breathtaking. Oh my god, quick, complete off topic. You know at Domino's where you ask them to do something at the door?
Yeah.
Well, so they never fucking do it. And my name's Keanu Reeves on Domino's because I set it as a joke and now it won't let me change it back. So I jokingly put like, I had to call up the other day and say I've put the wrong order in and I had to say my name. But like, I put, please say it's breathtaking when you get to the door. And this woman showed up with this pizza and she went, it's breathtaking. And I was just like, yes! Fuck yeah, finally! And anyway, that's complete off topic. So, because this is just a fucking mess already, should we just go on with the review?
Yes.
Okay, you start.
So we're gonna start with like kind of the opening, I guess.
Indeed. Spoiler alert, by the way, because we're gonna go through this like
Yeah.
plot.
Is
Plot.
that what you're on, Phoebe? Pod.
Plot point. I have a stutter.
Plot
Leave
point.
me alone. Oh, what a mess.
How push.
I'm trying to eat my Kinder Bar. Leave me alone. So, the opening scene of Joker has Joaquin Phoenix's character Arthur Fleck. I said that right.
Yeah.
Who is he's one of those like sign spinner people who like, I don't know, we don't really have them over here, do we?
I'd be useless at it. Also, like, they spin the sign and I'm like, you're spinning it, so which way do I go?
That just reminds me of that Vine, and it's like, which way? I don't know which way the Quiznos is.
But literally, like, if you're spinning it, like, I don't know where I'm going.
Exactly, I don't even know what it is. But so he's a sign spinner. He's that's just what we're gonna call it. There's a business that's shutting down, and he's spinning the sign outside, and this bunch of bratty kids come over, and they nick his sign, and they run off with it into an alley, where he follows them, and they proceed to beat him. Well, yeah, they beat him up, but not before completely breaking the sign into many pieces. It just shatters. Greg?
Yeah, I mean, I noticed, and like quite a few other people noticed, that like when he's running and like especially in the alleyway, it's shot kind of like a comic book panel. Like the whole opening sequence is shot, if you look at each shot, is set out like a comic book panel, and that was said to be intentional. Because obviously
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, the Joker, this kind of film with like the failed comedian kind of storyline is obviously very much taken from the comic book The Killing Joke, which is
That's
also
a great one.
the origin story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just noticed it. And also, when he's running after the sign, like when he's running after the sign, like the way he runs is very cartoonish. And,
I noticed that.
Yeah, on set it was called Arthur's Run.
Okay.
And it apparently he just ran kind of weirdly. One, because that's how he thought the character would do it, and two, because he'd like lost so much weight for the role.
It's kind of scary at times when you see him.
Yeah, I have it like somewhere how much he lost, but it was like a lot. He lost 52 pounds.
God, what's that in stone?
Let me look.
We're British, we're uneducated in whatever pounds is. Oh my god, that's 3.7 stone.
Damn.
Jesus Christ. I wish I could do that.
Same.
So yeah, he gets beaten up, which then leads to the next day. I'm guessing it's the next day at work. He's kind of given like a warning because the company wants their sign back, which he says obviously it's broken, but they don't really believe him. And one of his
yeah, because they were saying like, you know, they were kids.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You're an adult kind of thing.
Yeah, they're like,
we
why
don't
would
believe,
they want a sign? Yeah.
We don't believe that, like, you got beaten up because they were kids.
Yeah, they wouldn't go to that extent.
Yeah.
So, because he got beaten up, one of his co-workers, Randall, gives him a gun in order to protect himself from if anything kind of similar happens. But unfortunately, that kind of doesn't work out for him because he's performing at entertaining a bunch of kids at a children's hospital. And those kids just look absolutely riveted by what's going on.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'd be creeped out if, like, a clown came in.
it's just this weird skinny
Like, leave
old
me
guy
alone.
is like walking up, and it's like, okay, thanks, mate. And then to make it worse, his fucking gun falls out of his pocket, and he kind of does like a cartoony, like, kicks it, trying to pick it up, which isn't intentional. And then he turns to like some kid and goes, shh. Like, okay, like, sure, Jan, we haven't seen the fucking gun that's just fallen out of your pocket or anything.
Although, Phoebe,
Yeah.
going back to, like, couple episodes ago, it answers our question of what do clowns actually do at a party.
Oh my god, you're right! It does!
They dance,
Holy shit.
apparently.
They dance and then they drop their guns.
Damn!
Yeah.
Cracked it.
Holy shit. Oh my god. I feel so fucking educated.
Yes.
Oh my god, thank you. Now I can sleep peacefully at night and not be going to bed at 4 a.m. Because I have a lecture tomorrow and it's really fucking boring and I'm probably going to fall asleep anyway.
This happens like once every episode.
Okay, I'm going to keep GarageBand in like a separate thing because I'm obviously recording on GarageBand. Very professional. Okay, so anyway, what on earth is that?
What?
There was like a...
That was me.
Oh. Okay, so Arthur is fired from his job, obviously, because he had a fucking gun out at a kid's entertainment thing. And
yeah.
on
And I like his excuse of just like, it's part of my routine.
he doesn't give that up.
What are you gonna do with that?
He's gonna shoot himself. But I don't...
Comedy gold.
Oh yeah, I love it when the fucking clown at my my performance just decides to bring a gun out. It's not threatening at all. You're lucky this is the 80s and not now, because Jesus Christ. So he obviously gets fired. What a surprise. And on the subway on the way home, there's like these three guys who are kind of heckling this woman. And Arthur has a disorder that means he laughs. It's called... Oh my god, why did I click on this and decide to pronounce it? pseudobulbar effect is the name of the condition. I believe I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And because he starts laughing, they obviously think that...
I don't know.
Yeah, I just looked that up. But they obviously think that he's laughing at them, and because they're tough guys, they ain't gonna take none of that. And they start beating him up.
Huh.
Yeah. Thank you, Greg, for your insight on that.
I was doing research.
Yes. Intercut with your research at any point. I'm just going through.
But I found out that the people in the subway were apparently employees at Wayne Enterprises.
Oh, right. Yeah, because they are supposed to be
So it's-
wealthy, aren't they? And, like, quite well off.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like another link to, like, his hatred of Bruce Wayne.
There's a lot of links into the whole
Yeah.
beef between
And
them.
going back to his laugh, the actor, like, based his laugh on videos of people suffering from pathological laughter.
Well, that's happy.
Yeah.
I have to say, it was very, I think if you hadn't had such a good actor in the role, it wouldn't have worked as well, because you can see when he's laughing that he, like, the pain and how much he doesn't want to be laughing.
Yeah, well, the director told him that he, like, envisioned Joker's laughter as something that's, like, almost painful.
Yeah.
So
It's quite uncomfortable to
definitely-
see at certain times, actually. Especially, like, on the train and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, these guys beat him up, and in self-defense, kind of, technically, he shoots two of them, and then just fucking hunts down the third one. Because...
Well, I guess because he's just, like, panicking, you know?
It's just like
oh, God, he saw...
He doesn't... That's the great thing, though. He doesn't look like he's panicked. He looks like he's just like, you know what? I've done two of them already. Fuck it. He's just like, let me just go kill these. So he shoots one in the leg, and then he's like trying to struggle away, and he just shoots him, and then shoots him a bunch more times. So we know who would be very effective in a zombie apocalypse. And he runs off.
Double tap.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Extended universe with Zombieland. So he runs off and into like what even is it? It's like a public bathroom, but it's in a really strange area.
Yeah, I think it is just a public bathroom.
It's like around storage crates or something, or maybe that's just me not remembering properly.
No, I think it was like next to a playground or like basketball court or something like that. It was something weird like that.
I think I'm getting it mixed up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
For fuck's
I don't know, I'm picturing a scene from... Oh no, it's Big Hero 6 I'm thinking of.
What? How do you get the Joker, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Big Hero 6 confused? Yes, their plot lines are exactly the same.
There's people in all of them.
Yes, Phoebe.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay. I'm gonna find a link, and that's gonna be the opening to the next episode, I swear to God. Wait, I've already forgotten what the three movies were. So he gets to this nasty looking public bathroom, and he has a little dance. It's a pretty little dance. Greg, you have facts about the dance. There's a pigeon outside, sorry. Really fat.
Wow.
Sorry,
yeah.
distraction.
Yeah. The dance was completely improvised.
Indeed.
That's my fact.
Thank you, Greg, for your insight on...
It's improvised on the spot, and it works very well. And it's basically, showing him kind of... He's starting to not care.
I'm probably gonna have completely the wrong name of this, but it kind of reminded me some of the movements of, I think it's Tai Chi. I don't know why. who the fuck knows why? That's just me. I've just seen The Farewell and I'm trying to figure out if it's the same. If it was Tai Chi. I don't know. It kind of reminded me of like when people kind of do that thing to kind of relax themselves, which is probably me reading into it like a weird fucking idiot. But you know, there we go. I'm gonna shut up now. So it's there's a theme with dancing in this movie. I like it. It's making me think of Spider-Man 3.
Oh god.
The best scene out of any Marvel movie, and you cannot convince me otherwise. It's so good. I just like all the fucking memes that are coming out of it, where they're like putting them together. So yeah, and then he goes...
Talking about Marvel! And this is a DC film. Well, sort of.
Oh. I thought you were gonna give me a fact then. I'm sorry that I like both. Shazam is the best superhero movie of the year. Sips tea. That's a fact. So you haven't even seen it. You can't say anything. So he goes...
I don't want to see it.
It's because Shazam is so fucking good, man. It's like a great movie. I'm gonna make you watch it. I've got Shazam looking at me right now, my little pop. I love it. So...
You gotta come to my uni first.
Maybe you can come to mine. Anyway, we're so off topic today. So he goes back to his apartment, and there's a woman there who we met earlier called Sophie. She's a single mom. I was gonna make a joke, but I won't. And he invites her to his stand. Well, he like walks in and just makes out with her, and it's implied that the devil's tango ensues. Or at least I don't know. That's what Matt Pat said. I watched a film theory video. That's all my knowledge.
Nice.
Thank you. So yeah, and I'm scrolling through the Wikipedia, give me a minute. It turns out that the people he killed on the train are quite high up in society, I guess. They're like middle upper class, right?
Yeah.
And Thomas Wayne, who is obviously Batboy's dad, he labels the people that are kind of envious as of the people that are kind of higher up and doing better in society, and he calls them clowns, which comes in later. And then a bunch of like demonstrations and protests begin, and people start wearing clown masks, because that's what the killer on the subway had been wearing, and chaos ensues.
Yeah.
God, Greg, you're so insightful today. You've got more facts for later, so okay. I guess I'm just leaving this bit. Then there's actually a scene I want to kind of discuss a little bit. It's the scene where I'm being serious now. God, Greg. It's the scene where he's with the social worker, and she says that the funding's been cut. So he's not going to be able to see a social worker, and it's going to be harder for him to get his medication.
I thought that was like his therapist. I didn't realise that was a social worker.
It probably was a therapist. I thought it was, but then it's social services. I just remember her having a label that I thought said social worker on it. But I had I just wanted to know, what did you think about that bit? The where he's kind of having a go at her for not listening.
I mean, it's very like, I'm kind of glad it was said in a film.
Yeah.
And we can kind of go into that a bit later, as that's kind of that's like kind of the point of a lot of controversy with this film.
Yeah.
But like, I'm glad it was said.
I am really
glad.
Because
it's like a very big point that like people with mental health issues are very like, they're just ignored, pushed down, like, and he says it later on, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if you have a mental health issue, you have to act like you don't.
Yes. That's true.
Or, like, he says something like that.
Yeah, it's the
like,
thing about having a mental illness is people expect you to act like you don't, or something like that.
Yeah.
He writes it in his book.
And that's, like, yeah. And that's, like, incredibly true.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, if you show it, you're even...
Yeah, exactly. But then if you don't show it, people kind of go, there's nothing wrong with you, so it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's because, as well, it's only just, like, people are only just beginning to treat it like real illness.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it was said.
There was a bit in particular that I just wanted to mention. It's a line in it where he's talking to the therapist and he says, I know it's kind of been memed a bit, but it's like, he's like, every week you ask me the same questions and you're not actually listening because you ask me if I'm okay and if I'm having negative thoughts, and all I have are negative thoughts. And, like, I just wanted to give a little bit of kudos to that, because that's fucking accurate. I hate to go into this kind of thing, but I used to literally walk out of sessions and say exactly that to my mum, because they don't... Yeah. You would get asked the same questions every week and nobody listens.
Yeah, I found that, like, as well. It's just ridiculous, to be honest. You're asked...
Yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of asked the same questions, and it's like, they kind of phrase it that, like, why aren't you doing better? Because you're going to therapy.
Yeah.
Why isn't it getting better? And it's because, like, you know, you ask the same questions every week.
Yeah.
If you ask the same questions every week, nothing's going to get better.
I literally used to get asked every week, what do you expect out of these sessions? And then,
I hate that question.
What have you had?
What can you give me out of these sessions?
And what have you had so far? I'm like, I fucking told you last week. But, yeah, I just hate to go too deep, but I just wanted to give kudos to the writer or whatever, because you don't see that a lot when therapy's addressed, because it's often just addressed as, it'll solve all your problems. And I just wanted to kind of point that out, that was I kind of appreciated that being brought up.
Yeah.
So anyway, not so deep. So after that, Arthur invites Sophie to go to his comedy show, which it was something. I felt very uncomfortable. I had my head in my hands that whole bit, because it was just like, oh.
There were, like, a few times through this film where I just sat there, like, cringing. I was like,
yeah, no. But you're supposed to cringe.
I guess that's the response you're supposed to have.
Although...
But I just, like, I felt so bad for him, because, like, the moment he gets up on stage and the laughter starts and he, like, just can't, like, talk through it.
Yeah,
like,
no. And he looks like he's genuinely struggling. I've got to admit, though, I did actually laugh at one point, like, at one of the fucking jokes, because for a movie where it's like, oh, his jokes are bad, which this ties back to a bit earlier where he's actually at the same comedy club and he keeps laughing at the wrong points in the joke. He's not laughing at the punchline, he's laughing at just random parts. I forgot to mention that earlier, but yeah, so there's a bit in it where he's just like, oh, Mum, it's like, because he does the whole, Mum said you need to go to school and everything, but I was like, I want to be a comedian, and obviously nobody laughs at that, but it's the bit where he goes, well, nobody's laughing now, and then I just saw, I thought it was quite funny, because it's so shit that it's just like, look, I don't know, I've got a shit sense of humour. I thought that was funny, and, like, there were a couple times where he said really bad jokes and I just laughed. And, like, somebody would look at me and I was just like, I'm sorry, my sense of humour is so crap. It's like when he,
It was also kind of sad, though, like, looking back at it now, because it's just, like, the only person really laughing was the girl.
Yeah, and of course...
And obviously she wasn't there.
Actually
and
there.
It was like, that's so sad.
I know. Because obviously he's imagining people are laughing, which we don't realise is just in his imagination till later. But, yeah, that's one of a few bits that actually made me laugh. The other bit was, one of the other ones was when he went, oh, I forgot to clock out, and then just fucking punches the clock until it falls off. That was funny. I've got an appalling sense of humour. So he kind of starts getting to know, oh, for fuck's sake. Sophie, I have a stutter, leave me alone. He gets to know Sophie a bit more, and they kind of start going out a bit, like you see them talking around, and she's saying about how she thinks that whoever did the killings on the subway is like a hero. And it's like...
Yeah, that's kind of when he starts realising, like, the kind of what he can do and what impact he's kind of had.
Yeah. It's, you start to see that divide in society as well, because, like, the newspapers are all labelled, like, about this horrific killer and committing such a horrific act of murder. But then in comparison, you have these other people who are just like, yeah, this is, like, a hero, somebody we should be looking up to.
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite interesting. But after that, he's watching the Murray Franklin show, which is introduced earlier on, and it's kind of like him and his mum watch it every night. It's like a talk show. It's his idol.
It looks like The Late Late Show.
Yes, it does.
I mean, I think that's what it's meant to be.
Yeah, something like that. And earlier on in the film, he imagines himself in the audience, and Murray he pulls him up on stage, and he's like, "Oh, if I had a son, I wish he would be like you." So he kind of like idolizes this guy in a way, but unfortunately, Murray's making fun of his performance. He pulled up a clip and he says, "Oh, this guy thinks he's such a joker," or whatever. And Arthur's a bit upset. And after that, he finds a letter that his mum has written to Thomas Wayne. Gregory, would you like to talk about this bit?
I mean, I can't really remember it.
Oh, thanks! Okay, so let me just adjust my seat. So he finds a letter written to Thomas Wayne by his mother, who she has mentioned a few times before, saying that, oh, he'll help us out of this financial situation. And in the letter, it basically claims that Arthur...
Oh, yeah, it's like, help our son, or whatever.
Can you help our son? So she's basically claiming that Arthur is Thomas Wayne's illegitimate son, therefore making him Bruce Wayne's half-brother. I've watched a few reviews, and it seems to be very controversial about what people think about that. I think it was... Certain people seem to think it's interesting, and, like, I was listening to Chris Stuckman, who didn't like that, who seemed to not like that direction at all. I was wondering what you would think if that had actually been how the story had gone, that they were related.
I mean, there are so many different, like, bloody Batman comics and different, like, backstories to the Joker that I was kind of wondering, like, oh, are you pulling some together?
Yeah.
Because there are, like, I'm pretty sure there is at least 2 or 3 where they did go that route.
Yeah. I enjoyed Batman comics, but I've only really read the big main ones, like Mad Love, Death in the Family, Killing Joke.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been quite interesting.
Yeah.
And it did kind of, like, it would have worked, you know.
I
like
was quite interested if
he didn't really want.
I thought it would have been interesting if it went in that direction. Because at that time, I thought, obviously, after this scene, he goes into a theatre, a movie theatre, where they're watching a film, and he confronts him about it. And I thought that was going to lead to the death of their parents. I thought it was going to be him that did it. Which obviously isn't what happened.
That's what I thought.
But that would have been quite interesting, because then you have this dynamic of, obviously, everything that happens, kind of, that's a big kick-off point for what happens to Bruce Wayne and how he becomes Batman. But at the same time, it's also, it connects them in a certain way, and it kind of makes you look at why the murder was committed in a different way. I just think that would have been quite interesting.
Well, not only that, but, like, the whole film is very, like, class divide kind of film.
Yes.
So it would have been really interesting to have Arthur realise that, like, he's not the class he thought, like, he is upper class.
Yeah, but he's kind of
like,
been abandoned.
Whether that would have changed his opinions. Yeah.
Because a lot of this movie, I mean, it's it's part of the reason, I'm pretty sure you'll have it in your research about the controversy. It's kind of like people compare it to like incels, because there is a lot of talk about society, but it would bring up the point that you've kind of had somebody in a higher position of society has abandoned him and left him in this lower position in society.
Yeah, well, kind of, not only that, but it's just kind of interesting as, like, it's always kind of lower class are very seen as, like, especially in films, it's like lower class will leave, like, the son kind of thing, and it's just like, oh, that's like a really scummy thing to do. These like lower class people have just left their son, and then it's like the rich people who adopt them in.
That's true.
So like seeing it the other way round is quite interesting.
That reminds me of like Oliver for some reason. Oliver Twist. No, that would actually, that would have been quite interesting. There's quite a few interesting things that they kind of alluded to and then kind of did a 180 that would have been interesting. But
yeah, I mean, I like that. I felt that they needed that.
I thought it was quite cool because I was sat in the cinema like, oh, I didn't see that coming, and then like it does it again. But as I mentioned earlier, he goes to the theatre and he doesn't kill Bruce Wayne. He just kind of confronts him and did I say Bruce Wayne? I meant Thomas. And
I said Bruce Wayne earlier, and then I was like, it's not him.
So used to saying it. But Thomas is like, nah, mate, I'm not your dad. You were adopted.
Yeah, he says like, check the files or whatever.
Yeah, she adopted. What was it? She adopted him, and didn't she claim that he was his, so that she could stay because she was their
Well,
mate.
that's why she was. Yeah, and then she adopted this kid.
Yeah. Who's Arthur?
Went a bit insane.
Yeah, she has.
And basically
problems.
was just like, oh, it's your kid, like, and that's why she was like, I think they put her in the asylum as just like, you need to.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, it's when he. Yeah, so he turns up at the asylum
to go get the
to find these files.
Oh yeah, I want to know.
And that's
what this mistake.
Yeah, that's when he finds out he's adopted. But yeah, the mistake I found in the film is he walks into the asylum.
Yeah.
And he goes up to that like desk where all the files are.
Yeah.
And you're meant to assume that this like place is on the ground floor.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Because if you look at like the windows in the background, they have sunlight coming through.
Yeah.
And the guy in this little booth who's trying to find the file goes, I had to go down to the basement for these.
Yeah.
And you can see that like all the files around him, so that's obviously the file office, and underneath him must be the basement.
Yeah.
That just makes sense. But when Arthur grabs the files, he then runs downstairs like 3 flights of stairs, like 3 floors, and behind him is a window with sunlight streaming in. So I was like, what, so where the fuck is this basement if all of your files are there?
Yeah, that is... Wait, so why...
Like, that
why is that
floor plan just doesn't make sense.
Why is that scene necessarily the one there? Why is it necessarily on the bottom, on the ground floor?
Because he said he went into the basement to get these files, and he's in, like, the filing office, this guy.
Which wouldn't make sense to
So
be,
that
like,
would...
3 floors up.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that's why... Like, that must be the ground floor then, if he's gone into the basement. So when Arthur goes down another 3 floors, and there's still sunlight, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
I just spotted it, and I was like, that's kind of
weird. I didn't think about that. That's weird. Huh. Now I'm going to watch that and not be able to see it. That's annoying.
Yeah.
But, as you said, he nicks the file and runs off down a flight of stairs. And he opens... I'm so stupid. I didn't understand this the first time I saw it until I listen to somebody explain it. It turns out that he was adopted as a baby by Penny, who is his mum. And then she allowed her abusive boyfriend to abuse both of them, including, like, he was, like, wasn't he, like, chained to a radiator or something?
Yeah, and he has, like, a brain injury, which is why he has, like, the laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know why I couldn't understand that when I was watching it. I was sitting there thinking, wait, did she have a kid that she abused and then she adopted a new one? Or I don't fucking know, I'm an idiot. Completely ignore me. But yeah, so obviously he's upset about that, and he goes into the hospital and he kills his mum, which that's always fun. And I think that's kind of like it's kind of the beginning of when he really starts to snap.
Yeah.
Not that he hasn't obviously been a bit psycho before, but it's when there's kind of a turning point. And after that, he goes to Sophie's apartment, and she comes in after putting her daughter to bed, and she is very confused why he's there, because she doesn't know who he is. She's like, oh, you're the guy from across the hall that she obviously saw earlier on in the film, and she's like, can you please leave? And we find out that everything that happened with him and her in it never actually happened. Well, it did happen, but he was on his own. She wasn't there the whole time. So he was been...
Yeah, because it kind of flashes back to when they were in front of the newsstand.
Yeah.
And he's, like, just stood there alone.
Yeah, it shows them together and then him on his own. Which is... It's really sad. I know...
Yeah.
This definitely... It, like, kind of juggles whether or not you're supposed to feel bad for him. And I can't help but feel bad for him. I know I shouldn't, but, like, I don't know. It's really sad to watch. But, so... He obviously leaves. I thought he killed her, honestly, when I watched this.
I guess it kind of leaves it up to, like, did he or didn't he?
Yeah, it never really says anything, because she obviously looks scared, and then all of a sudden the next thing we know he's in his apartment. So I was thinking, has he killed her or not? Because you don't see her again after that point in the film. So I guess...
Yeah.
And there is, there's an ambulance that shows, it goes past his window later on in the next scene, I think. Because I was thinking, oh, is that turned up for her? But I don't know, it never says anything, so maybe it's implying that, I don't know. That's just how I personally thought it might have gone. But,
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it this bit that he puts himself in the fridge, or was that earlier?
No, I think it's this bit.
That was so weird. He just pulls all the drawers out.
Because it's like... yeah, because it's like just before the phone rings.
Yeah, he just pulls all the drawers out in the fridge and then just gets in it. And it's like, okay, go off, I guess. Mr. Freeze origin story.
Damn.
Somebody made a movie about that. That's great. Yeah, so... But he gets a phone call, and it's Murray, who I've managed to forget the last name of, because I'm stupid. Murray Franklin. It's his, like, assistant calling up saying, oh, your segment on the show was really popular. Could you come over and could you come on and kind of do an appearance on the show and do some of your act? Which obviously he's really excited about, because it's like, oh, it's my idol who made fun of me on TV. But yes, yeah. So he gets ready for his performance, and then when he's about to go on, two of his former co-workers, Gary and Randall, show up, basically to say, oh, sorry about your mum's death, kind of thing. And Arthur just fucking kills Randall with a pair of scissors. That was like, okay, Gary is great in that scene. I fucking love Gary. He's just really funny. He's just like, oh my god, no, why? Do you know what it reminded me of? You know llamas with hats?
Oh my god.
You know when they're just like, oh my god, Carl, that kills people. It kind of, and he's sitting there and he's like, and I ate them, and they're like, oh my god. It reminded me of that. I've only just thought of it. Oh my god, I want somebody to put that dialogue over that scene. It's the scene from Joker, but it's llamas with hats. I haven't
seen that in, like, years.
Oh my god, I'm gonna edit that. I love it. Thank you, brain, for giving me that thought. But yeah, he lets Gary leave, but Gary can't reach the door handle because... Is he a dwarf? I don't want to use the wrong phrase.
I think so.
Yeah, so he can't get the door handle, so he has to have Arthur unlock it, which was quite funny, to be honest. I thought that was very funny. There's good memes coming out of that bit. After that, he's just like, you know what, and then just buggers off to the studio. And he kind of, like, does this swiggity-swaggity walk down the hallway, and he does his dance on the stairs, which has been memed to death, and I love it.
Yeah. Also, the stairs,
Yes.
or like the steps where they filmed, is now like an actual thing on Google Maps,
Oh, really?
and it's put under the religious destination category.
Oh, I thought that was just a meme. Has it actually been done?
It's actually been
That's
done.
amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
I've just seen like the things, and it's like girls on a school trip to New York. Oh my god, I want to see the Empire State Building, and then it's like boys, and it's the fucking staircase.
Yeah.
I'm that bitch that would go stand on there and like do a stupid pose and take a picture, because after Seoul I've kind of got an itch to have travel pictures now. But he does his
But
dog.
also,
Yeah, carry on, sorry.
yeah, just like whilst they were trying to film that, apparently there were loads of like paparazzi trying to get like, pictures of them, but the pictures were so shit that I can't remember who it was, but one of the like people involved with the film got so like annoyed by the shit pictures that he just took his own pictures and released them.
That's amazing.
Because of like how shit all the paparazzi ones were. He was just like, you know what,
if you're not going to do this right, I might as well. Don't make my film look shit. That's
Yeah.
rude. Oh, that's great.
I think one of them got turned into like a meme.
Yeah, it did. That was like,
Yeah.
there's quite a few good like behind the scenes pictures from like that bit. It's quite funny. But
Yeah.
an interesting thing I heard was somebody compared this scene to the bathroom scene, whereas his bathroom dance is very like it's very calm and like collected and controlled. This one's very like flailing your arms around, just having some fun and everything, and it could be a way to show that he's just kind of like, he's lost it now. He doesn't care. There's nothing calm and collected about him anymore.
Yeah,
He's very manic and frantic.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is,
Yeah.
and it's just like the whole thing, like it's like put down in a lot of interviews and like articles that it's kind of like a nothing matters kind of
Yeah,
idea that he has.
it's very representative
He's like-
of how he's just...
Yeah, and especially when you see that like he really doesn't give a shit, because his idea is that he's not gonna be here after
Yeah,
this night, so he's just like, I can do whatever I want.
yeah, he doesn't intend to kind of come back after the show.
Yeah.
But he gets followed by two cops that think he was involved with the subway shootings, and outruns them with his funny little run onto a subway train, which is full of protesters. And he kind of starts a load of chaos on the train. The police officers start a load of chaos, and they end up do they get shot, or do they just get beat up? Because I remember
They get like beaten.
They
up.
shoot
I'm pretty
somebody,
sure to
right?
death.
they shoot
Yeah,
somebody,
they shoot a guy,
and then they get
because they
beaten
think
up.
it's him.
Yeah.
And then they get like dragged off the train,
Yeah.
and when Arthur sees them being beaten up, he does like his little happy dance and
Yeah.
runs off.
He's just like, woo! And then, like, I don't know, that's so weird, but he just buggers off to go on the show. I love that. It's chaotic. Chaotic evil. It's great. So he goes on the show, and we have he obviously does the bit from the trailer where he goes, when I go on, can you introduce me as Joker? And I fucking love the meme that's come out of this bit, where it's got the put on a happy face. And it's just like, what episode of RuPaul's Drag Race is this? I fucking love that. Oh my god. But yeah, so he wants to be called Joker because that's what Murray called him when he was talking about his act. And so he introduced...
Yeah, and he kind of sees as well that Murray really doesn't care about him.
Yeah, sees him as a bit of an
he
idiot.
doesn't remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he sees them as a bit of like it's a weird guy that's done something funny, get him on the TV for some views. I was about to say some clicks, but it's the 80s. And he does his little dance when he walks out. He does all his twists and turns, and I was like, damn, Joaquin Phoenix has got some moves. And then tells some really shit jokes. I think I might have laughed at one of them again, but I can't remember what it was. And then he says that he was the person that killed them on the train. And they think that he's joking. And he's like, he just keeps going, and like you can just see his face, and Murray's just like, oh fuck, this is really the guy that killed those guys on the train. Oh shit. It's like you can just see.
Yeah.
And he goes on his little incel rant about society abandoning people. I don't want to call it that. It's just that's what everyone's saying. The media's saying about it. So just go with it.
Yeah.
And he's like how society abandons people, and he goes off about how Murray mocks him, and then he does the what's the joke? It's what do you? I'm gonna get the exact quote up, or I'm not gonna be able to. It's gonna get that quote up. He turns to Murray, and it's like a final joke, and this is the bit where earlier on he shoots himself, well, pretends to shoot himself, so you think he's gonna shoot himself. I could see it coming about what I mean, I think it was pretty obvious what was actually gonna happen.
Yeah.
But so he goes, oh, how about another joke? And he's like, no thank you, I think we've had enough. And he goes, what do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with a society that abandons him and treats him like trash? I'll tell you what you get what you fucking deserve. And then he shoots him in the head. I thought that was a really good scene. It was fucking tense.
I'm like really glad they actually showed it as like
they didn't cut,
because I thought they just cut it like as he pointed the gun, and I was like, please don't, like please just keep it rolling, because that's such like a great moment.
It is. It's really like, I would say that's probably like pretty iconic bit from this movie. It's really tense, and then everybody just runs off, and he does like his little dance again, and he doesn't care, and then he shoots him a bunch more times. Again, he just fucking double taps. Fucking quadruple taps. And he gets arrested on the TV, and kind of everybody's reporting about it. They're all like, holy shit, this fucking wacko's just killed somebody on TV. And he gets carried away in a police truck, and then isn't it an ambulance? Just a fucking ambulance.
No, he's in a police car.
No, he's in a police car, but then isn't it an ambulance that rams into it?
Yeah, because one of the protesters is driving it.
And
yeah, because he's turned up to this TV show in clown makeup,
and it's the same day as the protest.
You want to do that because that's what all the protesters are wearing.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So that's when like they see that like that's kind of the guy who's leading it all.
Yeah. And especially when he admits live on air, it kind of comes together because he's got the makeup on and everything. Forgot to mention that, sorry. Yeah. So, there was another thing as well. I'm not sure if it's during this bit. I think it might have been earlier on the train. Somebody pointed out that one of the people wearing a mask seems to be the same woman that was on the train that was being heckled by the guys he killed. It could just be a little Easter egg, but I thought that was pretty neat. But, yeah, so he's in...
I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah, because she obviously knows what happened, and if she's in, I guess, lower class as well, she could also share the view of seeing him as a bit of a hero. But,
yeah.
I need to stop saying that, because it sounds like I'm going, and I think I go, tss. That's a shit joke, I'm sorry. But, yeah, he's in a police car being driven, presumably, to jail. I guess that's what police do.
Yeah, and he's like, isn't he like looking out the window at all the protests?
Yeah.
And he's just like, this is what I've created.
Yeah.
Like, this is so cool, kind of thing.
And then just out of nowhere, a fucking ambulance just rams into it. And like, presumably all the other people are dead. And they realise that one of the guy in the car is the guy off the TV, so they like carry him out like Jesus almost, and like lie him on the front of the car with his like arms spread out, being like a savior.
Yeah.
And he wakes up and he sees everything, and he's just like, neat, and then does this little dance. But that happens after we actually, I forgot again, sorry. We see that one of the rioters actually corners the Waynes in the alley. They're running out of a theatre, and then he murders Thomas and Martha Wayne. So it's like we see that the actions of Arthur's actions indirectly led to the deaths of Thomas and Martha Wayne, which obviously then leads on Batman. And I can't say her name without thinking of that fucking scene from Batman vs Superman. Save Martha! So fucking stupid. Anyway, so it then cuts to, we see Bruce in the alleyway kind of kneeling down with his parents next to him, who are dead. Fun times. And then it cuts to Arthur in a psychiatric ward laughing, and he's with a therapist who I think it's meant to parallel the social worker that he was seeing.
I thought it was the same woman.
No, it's not. It's a different lady.
I swear it was the same woman.
I thought it was, but apparently it's not.
Oh.
I could be wrong, but apparently it isn't. I'm bad at, I don't know, people.
Because I thought, he's like met up with this woman again.
No, this is a different lady. She's a psychiatrist.
Okay.
But I think they're very specifically meant to kind of look similar to, it's a parallel. And she kind of asks why he's laughing or what's so funny, and he just says she wouldn't understand the joke. And then I thought that was going to be the end of the film. I think, again, Chris Stuckman, I was watching his review, and he said it would have been a cool ending to just cut there, because it's like, he's thinking about how Batman's now, well, Bruce Wayne now doesn't have parents and everything. It would have been a cool place to cut, because he's seen the joke in it, and like, how that would go. I don't know, I can't exactly remember. I think it would have been a cool ending, but instead he runs from the orderlies, like the psychiatric unit, and he leaves like a trail of bloody footsteps, which I thought was a really cool visual. I think it's kind of
was really cool.
Left up to interpretation if it's supposed to be like metaphorical, like the people he's killed, or like if he actually did literally kill the psychiatrist he was just seeing. And then he gets chased down the hall. They kind of pull a Scooby-Doo and are chasing him down the hallways each way. And then it just goes, the end, with its fucking Looney Tunes font. And it's like, okay, it was so weird. But that's the end of the movie. Yeah. Do you have anything to add, or do you want to move on to your notes? Because I've been talking a long time.
I mean, like, I feel like the asylum scene at the end was kind of needed.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's, like, the Joker is kind of that character that's always there.
Yeah.
You know, like, no matter how many times you put him in that asylum, he's always going to get out, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
like,
a good point.
He's a constant presence, so I felt like it was a bit of a dead end to just kind of leave him in the asylum.
Yeah. I mean, it obviously
like,
leaves it up to interpretation if he gets out or not. Or if...
Yeah, but you needed that, like, one last act of chaos to, like, truly, like, he has completely...
lost it.
Turned into the Joker kind of thing.
Yeah, I like the final shot. I thought that was really neat. That's another bit that made me laugh, and I don't know if it was supposed to. I don't know, it just made me think of Scooby-Doo, or some scene from Doctor Who, Love and Monsters, I don't know. But, yeah, so is that all your opinions on the movie? Do you want to move on?
That's our review.
That's our review section.
It's just kind of like, what did you think of, like, his performance? Because, it's kind of known now that the role was kind of made with Phoenix in mind.
I think I'm going to be fucking pissed if he doesn't get nominated for an Oscar. I hate to be one of those people that's like, oh, if somebody doesn't get nominated for an Oscar for this, but it's like, legitimately, the amount of, I mean, he lost all that weight. And I'm not saying that method acting is something that should make you get an Oscar. If not, otherwise fucking Jared Leto would have gone for Suicide Squad, and we know who that was. But it was
Well, it's kind of...
It was amazingly
It's
done.
known as, like... Yeah, it's known as one of the, like, hardest roles to play.
Yeah, and I mean, he had to live up to a lot. With, like, obviously Heath Ledger is the last kind of great performance of the Joker.
Yeah, and it's kind of known that everyone else who's played the Joker has kind of gone to a lot of dark places, and it's really affected them for a long, long time.
I mean, don't
and
some people...
I guess, like, Heath Ledger's the big one.
Yeah, don't they
that.
contribute, actually, part of what happened to him as being because of his role? At least partly.
Yes, because he went so, like, far into the kind of method acting. But with Phoenix, he has said that he didn't have that experience playing this character.
He had a very different take on it, though.
Yes, but I just thought it was kind of interesting. He's kind of the first one to kind of not have...
I guess
that experience with it.
Well, I guess he's showing the descent into chaos. He's not showing it like a character that's fully just insane from start to finish. It's kind of the slow.
Because I guess it's quite hard to, like, properly dive into a role like that.
Yeah, which could be that. But yeah, I think he did a fantastic job. It's definitely, I would say personally, one of the best performances I've seen this year. It's probably next to Mark Hamill, is probably my favourite portrayal of the Joker.
Heath Ledger was kind of mine.
Heath Ledger
was
mine.
He's my favourite.
Like, Heath Ledger's is really bloody good, don't get me wrong, but, like, now, it's like, I don't know where I put Mark Hamill, because, I mean, technically, he's animated Joker, but he's still really good. But, like, I would say he's on par with Heath Ledger, if not, in my opinion, a tiny little bit better. But they both portray it in such different ways. It's like, this one is definitely more the angle of a mentally ill man that's been pushed to his limits and then has had this happen, whereas Heath Ledger's is just pure chaos, if you know what I mean. But the plus side is also... we didn't get fucking... You got no beef? You got some beef from fucking Jared Leto. I hate that movie.
Jared Leto's portrayal was so shit.
It was fucking awful. Wait, no beef?
But also it was kind of interesting. So I was looking into kind of, like his influences and stuff.
Yeah.
And he said that, like, he did not take influence from any of the past Joker performances.
Which is probably a good idea if you want, like, your own... Again, this is a very different portrayal, so that was probably a good idea.
Yeah, but I just feel like, you know, if a different actor did this, it definitely would have looked like Heath Ledger's.
Yeah.
And I just found it quite interesting, because when I went to see the film, like, as I was walking out, a lot of people were saying that, like, oh, he definitely took influence from Heath Ledger with that one.
I don't think so.
And it's just, I didn't see it, but, like, a lot of people were saying it, and I was just kind of like, I wanted to see, like, well, did I miss it?
No,
like,
I didn't see that at all.
Was he kind of doing that? Yeah, and he said in an interviews and stuff that, like, he didn't take any influence from them.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely didn't see that at all. So that's interesting that people have thought that way. But, yeah, it was a bloody good performance, though. There was a lot of... Yeah, there was a lot of range. I mean, you've got a man that's very damaged, and then you've got another man that's just like a fucking psycho, and it's like, it's especially the bits I think that kind of shone was the subway bit where he's trying not to laugh, and desperately trying not to laugh, and you can see, like, how much pain through his face, and I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
A lesser actor wouldn't have been able to do that.
But I just think, like, as much as I want to see this Joker taken into a Batman film, you'd also have to make it very dark.
Yeah.
To kind of fit in, and I'm not sure it would work, but I also, like, I want to see it.
I do too, especially because we have Robert Pattinson's Batman coming next, which, say what you want, everybody, he's a great fucking actor. And honest.
Well, especially
Yeah.
as well, like, the story will have to change drastically.
Yeah. I mean, it would probably have to be a more realistic take again. Like, I guess The Dark Knight was a bit more realistic than usual. So it's like...
Yeah, you have, like, The Dark Knight works.
Yeah.
Like, it was so good. And to kind of match up to that, the way that, like, the DC universe is now, it's very cartoonish. Like,
Yeah.
look at all these, like, proper kind of normal superheroes we have.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with this one, you really need to look at, like, how did Bruce Wayne grow up
Yeah.
facing all this kind of thing. Like, you'd have to go from that way. And how is this Joker now kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't think that this definitely could not go in the DCEU. It just would not work at all.
And I really hope it doesn't.
It can't, though, because I mean, picture something like, I don't know, how can you have this Joker in the same universe as The Flash and Shazam? It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't work.
No, unless they keep it separate.
I think that they must, because Robert Pattinson's Batman isn't supposed to be the DCEU, right? It's a standalone.
I think so. I hope so.
So, hopefully, if he comes back, it'll be in that. But, like,
It would just be kind of... If they go kind of the, like, really twisted kind of horror route...
That'd be interesting.
It would be incredible.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like, crime, horror, thriller kind of thing.
Like, it could be properly scary. Yeah.
Speaking of fucking horror superhero movies, what the fuck is happening with New Mutants? Completely.
I don't think it's going to come out.
Completely off topic. Wasn't it supposed to come out this year for, like, the 6th release?
It's supposed to have been coming out for the past, like, 5 years.
Oh, well.
It's just not going to come out.
That's just made me suddenly think of that. It's just like, God knows.
Yeah.
God knows when. Oh, April 3rd, 2020. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, but also this film got an 8-minute standing ovation at its premiere at the Venice Film Festival.
See, that's what I find interesting when you've got with these reviews.
8 minutes.
I know, but like, so you've got this film that has an 8-minute standing ovation. That's a fucking impressive. 1 minute standing ovation is impressive. 8 minutes. And yet at the same time, this is the same film that has like 58 on Metacritic. I just...
Yeah.
I find that so...
But I think it's more to do with the controversy. Which,
yeah, that's true.
We're going to go into
it
now, because... Yeah, I've looked into the controversy, and a lot of the controversy is, and this is all like the big critics are saying, yes, it's a stunning film, yes, it's amazing, but it's dangerous.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
And, yeah, and basically the controversy is that it portrays a mentally ill man turning to violence. And they are backing it up, which I will go into now, is, if you remember, the last time, we had the Dark Knight Rises 2012 shooting.
Yeah.
And that's what the controversy stems from, is that...
In case it happens
that
again.
was kind of because of the Joker, is why the 2012 Colorado shooting happened. It was like... It was, like, the biggest shooting after, like, was it, like, the Columbine shooting? Yeah, it was, like, the next biggest one, like, after that one.
Yeah.
So everyone got, like, they were kind of worried because, you know, the Joker had caused that then. And then you're bringing out a film which kind of sympathizes the Joker and shows him as, like, you know, he's mentally ill, and you kind of can see his thought process. So everyone is like, all the critics are like, this is really dangerous, and I think everyone's kind of waiting for something to happen.
I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, I think it should be able to be separated in a way from... If that had never happened,
I think
it's like...
Yeah, I think it's like a huge shame.
Yeah, because if that had never happened, this film could be getting a lot more of a different
it's
reception.
The reason it's not doing as well critically is literally because it's in mainstream media and everyone is like, that's so dangerous to have this film in mainstream media, and it's like, just let it, like, you know, it's making valid points and that's what you're scared of.
It is I mean, sure, this is a very exaggerated example and it's something that's like, it is portraying somebody that does something terrible, absolutely terrible, but at the same time, I think it's important that we have films like this that are addressing issues like mental health and the fact that there is a system that is failing people, because if we fix it, then these things won't happen as much. And I think sometimes that you do need, I mean, of course it's just the media, but at the same time, I think you do need things like this that bring points up, because otherwise it's just going to go ignored.
Yeah, and that's like, it's kind of interesting because that's the controversy, and that is the only reason it's not doing well critically, basically.
Because everybody agrees that it's pretty good.
Everyone's worried
that's
that
so ridiculous, though.
Start something, and it's just like, you know, I mean, we'll still have to wait and see. You know, it's been a week.
I mean, it could, but it's like when I don't know, fucking GTA 5 came out, and everyone was like, oh my god, it's going to cause so much violence, and it's like, you can't just...
It's literally the idea that violent media causes violent behaviour.
But you can't just not address these things in the media because you're afraid that... Because yes, there are people that are going to take these things the wrong way, and they're going to do stupid things, but at the same time, that could be... How do I put this? It's like, there are people out there that are prone to being easily influenced and could potentially take these things as an inspiration, but I don't think that means that we should be afraid to be addressing it in the media.
Yeah, I don't think it should limit our creativity in what we make. If you have a message, like, you know, it's so important to say the things in the film, and as we said like earlier, like, we're so glad it has been said in a film.
Yeah, exactly. It's,
you know,
I mean, sure, it's giving a sympathetic view of this character, but at the same time, I think that is something necessary, because the way I see this film is it's a character that, yeah, I feel sorry for him because the system's failed him, but at the same time, I do not condone anything that he has done. Yes, the system's failed him, but that does not make it okay that he then goes out and does these things.
Yeah.
Which I think is how the movie is supposed to be portraying it. It's not saying, hey, feel sorry for this guy and make you sit there and go, oh, well, he's only doing it because he's had this happen. And then, just make it seem acceptable. I think that it's supposed to be there so that you can sympathise, but at the same time, say, I see that these things are happening, but that does not equate to doing these things.
Yeah, and, like, you're supposed to take it... Yeah, you're supposed to take it that way.
Yeah.
I just, like, wanted to see kind of, you know, why does it have these ratings? Like, what is the controversy around this?
Yeah, and I can see why there's controversy, but it's annoying me that it's allowing... Because this is the same thing that's, like... If a movie doesn't do too well because of that, then people will be too afraid to take risks like this. And I don't want people to be afraid to take risks in filmmaking.
Yeah, you need to take risks in filmmaking.
Yeah, sometimes it's going to pay off and sometimes it's not.
Yeah, it was also like Warner Bros. Had the families of like the victims of the 2012 shootings like wrote in and were just like, why are you making this film, like sympathizing with him? He's the reason like family's dead. And it's just like, really?
But it's not, because sure, this film came out, but sure, the Dark Knight might have influenced these things, but it's not the reason that it happens. It's because there are people who have mental health issues, and then they are prone to doing things. And they could have watched any other movie that was violent and then gone and done the same thing. It's not because of the character, and it's not because of the film. it is because you have this person in a situation who has been influenced by something and is easily influenced by the media. You can't just sit there and kind of go, oh, it's this very specific movie, when, I don't know, if you had shown them anything else, like, say they had watched Seven and then gone and done something, then everyone would be going, oh, don't do Seven because anything like Seven because it's a dangerous movie.
Yeah, and I think there have been, like, there always has been films, there always will be films that kind of cause controversy like this.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
I'm just... Yeah.
Like, it's always going to happen, it's always going to be there, but it can't stop creativity, and it can't stop you, and it shouldn't stop you, like, putting out a message, you know?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, how else do you get people to listen?
Well, exactly. Sometimes you do need the media to be what puts a message into people's lives, which is why I get so, like, pissed about things like 13 Reasons Why, that just, like, butchers its chance to send a message out.
Yeah.
So, is that all your notes for the controversy? Do you want to go into, like, our final thoughts and our ratings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go into ratings.
So, Gregory, I have a feeling we're going to have different opinions on this. What do you give Joker out of Quentin's, and why?
9.5.
Okay.
I thought it was brilliant. It was really well shot. Like,
it was really nicely shot.
The characterization was just brilliant. Like, I just think it's a really great piece of filmmaking.
Yeah.
The only, like, thing was there were a few, like, script issues that just felt really awkward.
Like what?
Like, watching them. Just kind of his dialogue, and I felt like the character of the mum was just, it wasn't well written.
Okay, yeah.
I don't really know how to explain it, but just watching it, I just felt awkward and kind of disjointed it being there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was brilliant.
Okay.
What about you?
I gave it a 10.
You gave it a what?
10.
Nice.
10 Quentin's. I personally couldn't find anything I faulted with it. I thought it was excellent. Apart from, like, very, very minor things, but it wouldn't be something I would, like, drop my rating for. It's kind of the look at a character. The Joker's always been one of my probably, like, favourite characters. I find him very interesting. And I was worried that it would... I was very worried that it would kind of ruin the intrigue and everything around it, but it I think it did exactly what it needed to. I thought it was great. It was really nicely shot. It was really nicely made, and I hope that it... Do I think it's the best film ever made? No, but, like, I hope it gets the recognition for being as good as it is without this controversy going on, because I can appreciate that there's a film that's willing to tackle this kind of thing.
Yeah, I hope that even with the controversy, it does well at the Oscars.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, if you're going to make...
I feel that it deserves
fucking
to.
Bohemian Rhapsody had an alleged sex offender working on it, and it got a load of shit, so, you know.
There was actually something in this. There's, like, another bit of controversy because of a sex offender.
Oh, of course.
Was the bathroom, like, dance scene. Yeah. The music, like, the music
it's Gary
to
Glitter,
that bit.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I've heard about this.
So I was just like, cool, alright, another bit of controversy there.
Love.
Yeah.
I wonder if they did that on purpose. Maybe.
They were just, yeah, Hollywood's
a mess. We don't stand.
No.
But yeah, I can see why people might have certain problems with it. I personally really, really enjoyed it, yeah. So, 10 Quentins out of 10 for me. My favourite movie of the year so far.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Gregory, what are we doing next time?
We are going... Well, we're going to a haunted maze attraction.
First time I've been to one.
Called... Yeah.
First time I've been to one. Greg's excited and absolutely fucking pissing herself about it at the same time.
I'm like excited to go, but also like I'm afraid of everything. So
We know that, Greg. Don't worry. You can
It'll be
hold
cool.
my hand.
I will do.
I went to a Jack the Ripper thing with my mum and my stepdad, and everyone was like screaming, and I just went ahead first. It didn't scare me at all. I'm fine with these kind of things. The most I'll do is like jump, maybe shout like once, so I'm alright. I'll hold your hand.
Apparently, like we will be chased with chainsaws.
I live for that. Fun,
Cool.
fun. I wonder what
But
happens
yeah,
if you
we
just
are-
turn around and stop. Like, what are they gonna do? They can't actually fucking kill you with it.
Probably like jump at you. I don't know.
Come on, mate, just run. It's my job.
But yeah, like we're going to a haunted maze attraction, Tully's Farm, if anyone knows
Quite a
it.
famous one over here in the UK, I think.
Yeah, it's like one of the only ones we have. It's like the biggest
Yeah.
one over here. But we are going to be talking about our experience that we have there, and also kind of going into the history of haunted mazes.
Indeedly. Just Halloween nights in general, that kind of thing.
Yeah, getting hyped for Halloween.
Indeed. That's fun. So, I'd like to finish off this episode because I always manage to forget this bit. So, if you would like to follow us on Twitter, our account is @podcastfright. We will post occasional updates and stuff if you want to recommend anything to talk about or talk about any movies. If you disagree with us, if you agree with us, just tell us. And then also shout out, I would just like to give a shout out to my mate Marshall, who did the artwork for the thumbnail in exchange for some credit. So go follow him.
Well, that's the YouTube thumbnail.
Yes, the YouTube thumbnail.
If you're listening on anything else, you won't get the thumbnail.
But, go check out.
We'll post it on our Twitter.
Yeah, go check out @dead_heads20 on Instagram. That's Marshall's account, and he's very nicely doing art for us in exchange for shoutouts. So thanks, Marshall. Thank you for listening. I am still really shit at ending these shows, so I just kind of improvise. So I'm just going to turn my mic off now. Thank you. Goodbye.